Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. So we're going to be doing this cute little unicorn, and I'll even show you how to do the hair. He won't be in this color. You can pick whatever color you want. I'm going to be doing yellow and blue. But yeah, let's get started. Alright guys, let's get started. 5mm or H hook. We're going to make a magic ring. Always nice and tight to get through that hole. You're going to put 10 single crochets into this ring. And you're going to pull that closed. So we will be working in the round, which means you're going to need a stitch marker. And if you struggle like I do to get into this first stitch, just take a needle. I can't even get the needle in there. And just manipulate it a little bit to stretch it out. I don't know why it's always so tight. So you're going to put 2 single crochets in every stitch around. So working in the round means we're going to be working in the spiral. So you don't slip stitch, you don't chain one, you don't do any of that. You just go straight in and start to crochet. So you're going to put 2 in this hole, but after the first one you're going to put your marker. And then you can put your second stitch. So 2 in each stitch around, so you have a total of 20. So you can pull your middle closed, and in the next round you're going to do 1 single crochet, then 2 single crochets, 1 single crochet, then 2 single crochets all the way around. So this is how we're going to increase. So put your 1 on your marker. The next stitch then we'll get 2. The next stitch will get 1, and the next stitch will get 2, and you can do that all the way around for a total of 30 stitches. So you should end your sequence off at your marker. If you don't, you've done something wrong. So you should have a total of 30 stitches. And your next round is just going to be simple 1 single crochet in each stitch around. So this is where you can count to see if you've got your 30. You just count this round. So your next round is going to be 2 single crochets and 2 single crochets. So it's going to be 1 single crochet in the first stitch with your marker, another single crochet in the next stitch, and then 2 single crochets in the following stitch. So 1 1 2 1 1 2 1 1 2 all the way around till you have 40 stitches. So 1 1 and 2, that's your repeat. It's fairly squishy, so make sure you're not skipping any stitches. So the next round is going to be a single crochet in each stitch around for 40 stitches. So if you have messed up, you can add stitches in this round. 1 or 2 isn't going to make a huge difference. Or take away stitches. And I'm 1 stitch short, so I'm gonna put an extra stitch in there for 40. Got a little bit of a pull, I'm just gonna snip that off so it doesn't get in my way later. It's easy to skip a stitch and not have as many stitches because it does get pretty squishy in here. So don't fret too much, you can just add them. I mean, me adding that one there, it's not gonna make a difference. So round 7 is going to be 3 single crochets and an increase. So there's our 1 for our stitch marker, 2 and 3 single crochets over 3 stitches, and then our increase, so 2 single crochet in the same space. So do that repeat all the way around for a total of 50 stitches. And I'm ending my repeat at my marker, which means I've done everything right and I should have 50 stitches. So for the next 11 rows, you're going to do single crochet 50 stitches around, just like we've been doing in the spiral for the next 11 rows. So your next row is row 8 to row 19. You're going to do a single crochet in every stitch around for a total of 50. And I will meet you back here after your 11 rows is done. I will put up my pause screen with the instructions, and I'll see you in a bit. Alright, so now that we've got our 11 rows, you shove something that looks like this. So it looks like a little beanie cap. So now we're going to start decreasing to come up toward the neck. So you're going to do 3 single crochets and then 2 together. So let's put a single crochet in your first stitch with your stitch marker, 2, 3 single crochets over the course of 3 stitches, and then you're going to single crochet 2 together. And that's your repeat. So that's what you're going to repeat all the way around, and at the end of it you'll have 40 stitches. So 1, 2, 3 single crochets and single crochet 2 together. And your repeat should bring you right back to your stitch marker. And you should have a total of 40 stitches. So round 21 and 22 is just going to be single crochet in each stitch around. Alright, so now that you've got your 2 rows done, round 23 is going to be 2 single crochets and then 2 together. So there's 1 for our stitch marker. There's 2 single crochets and then 2 together. And that's your decrease sequence. So we're going to do that all the way around, and at the end of it we're going to have 30 stitches left. So 1 single crochet, 1 single crochet, and then 2 together. So you should end on your stitch marker. So you now have 30 stitches. So your next 2 rows, 24 and 25, are going to be just a single crochet all the way around. So I'll meet you right back here to do row 26 with you. So row 26 is going to be 1 single crochet and then 2 together. So by the end of it, you should have 20 stitches. So 1 single crochet our stitch marker, and then 2 together. So we're coming into the neck part. We'll stuff it in a bit. So 1 single crochet and 2 together all the way around. And your final repeat should land you right at your stitch marker. So you should have 20 stitches. So for the next 3 rows, you're going to just do single crochet for 20 stitches all the way around for the next 3 rows. And I'll meet you right back here after, and then we'll put some stuffing in. Alright, so now that we've got the neck part done, we can start adding some stuffing in here. So you can just kind of shove your fingers in there and press to get all around to the outside. Get a nice shape. At this point it should look like a little bomb. Be sure not to overstuff it. But when you press on it, if it bounces back, then you know you at least have enough. Mine's not really bouncing back all that much right now, so I'm going to put a little bit more. And I just want to make sure that I'm getting it equally around. So when you push down and it bounces back, you know you've pretty good. We'll do more of the neck part once we start building the head. So next we'll start on the head. Alright, now that we've got some stuffing into it, and we're at our neck part, we're going to start increasing now. So you're going to increase the same way that we increased down here. So we're just going to go 1 single crochet, 2 single crochet, 1 single crochet, 2 single crochet, 1, all the way around till you get back to your marker and you'll have a total of 30 stitches. So I already got my first one in. So I'm going to put my increase in the next one. So 2 single crochets. Let's try that again. And then 1 single crochet. Maybe. And then 2 single crochets all the way around. Alright, so our next row is just going to be straight single crochets all the way around for a total of 30. So this is where you can count your stitches to make sure that you have the right amount. And 30. So the next round is going to be 1 1 2 1 1 2 1 1 2. Same thing we did before. So we'll put our number 1 in here. There's stitch marker. So that's 1. This is 1 and then 2. So 1 single crochet, next stitch 1 single crochet, the next stitch 2 single crochets. So that's your repeat all the way around. By the end of, or at the marker, you should have 40 stitches. So you should have 40 stitches. And next round, you're going to do 3 single crochets and an increase. So we'll do our 1. That's 2, and then 3, then your increase of 2 single crochets in the same hole. So we'll do that all the way around. 1 1 1 2 1 1 1 2 1 1 1 2, and at the end of it you should have 50 stitches. Sorry, my yarn ball just about got away from me. So 1 1 1, and then your increase. And then your last repeat. Alrighty, starting to get our head going here. So from rows 8 to row 15, you're going to single crochet the next 7 rows for 50 stitches around, and I will see you right back here. Alright, I got my 7 rows done, so this is what it should look like right now. So the next round is we're going to start our decreases. So let's get our stitch marker in place. So we're going to do 3 single crochets and then 2 together. So that's 1, 2, 3, and then 2 together. So that's going to be our repeat. 1, 2, 3, and 2 together. We're going to do this all the way around, and at the end of the round you're going to have 40 stitches. Now be sure to not go into the same stitch. So if it's not sitting properly, like I'm spreading it out, but if it's not sitting properly, you might think that this is a stitch and it's not. Now I should have ended at the marker and I didn't, so I messed up somewhere, so I'm just gonna put one in there. So not a huge deal. You could add more stuffing, might make things easier too, as far as holding this. And this is where you can really make sure you get it down into the neck part. Gonna lose my spot. I wouldn't put too much though, but just make sure you put some in that's you're gonna be able to use to push down into that neck part. But again, you don't want to overstuff either, so. Like that's alright. So your next row is just going to be single crochet all the way around for 40 stitches. Oh, I almost forgot to put my stitch marker back. So the next round you're going to do 2 single crochets. So we'll do our one in the middle, or one in the first, I'll do our number 2, and then we do 2 together. So 1 single crochet, 1 single crochet, and then 2 together. And that should repeat all the way around. So the next row is, you should have 30 now at the end of this row, and your next row is just going to be a single crochet all the way around for a total of 30. So that was 30. So your next round is going to be 1 single crochet and then 2 together. So there's my 1. And then 2 together. So we're really starting to close up the head a bit. So we're going to fill him in as soon as this is done a bit more. And then put some eyes on. This one we only have to worry about eyes because we're going to make him a snout. So at the end of this you should have 20 stitches. Alright, so let's put some eyes on him before I get too far. So I've got my eyes. I'm probably just going to do 10 mil. Seems fine to me, and they're just going to be just black. So from the neck area, preferably the bottom of it, I like to count up and go 12, 13 rows up, so between the 12th and the 13th row. And I like to put 6 stitches between them. That should account for the snout, hopefully. So I just checked my other unicorn and I actually put 7 stitches between my eyes. So I will stick to that because of the snout. So once you're happy with the placement, you can put your backs on if you're using these. And then we could probably jam some more stuffing down the head. I didn't put in enough. When I made my bunny, I didn't put enough stuffing in the head, so I really don't want to make the same mistake. I want to make sure. My bunny turned out fine, but it really didn't have enough stuffing in the head. So, still not enough. That just wants to pop out. I think maybe I'll crochet some more and then see what I can stick down, or I may think that's enough once it starts to close. Of course, that's what I thought with my bunny, and then I didn't put enough in. So with this round, we're just going to do 2 together all the way around, and we're going to do this until the hole closes up. So we don't really need a stitch marker again, but I'm going to put one in there anyway. Just so I know how many stitches I can tell you we're at. So they're all just going to be sewn, so I like to just, before I pull tight, push down, squeeze together because of the stuffing. And I do kind of want his head to be a little bit round and not quite so flat. I mean, it's going to have ears up there, so it's not going to be too horrible. But so I should have 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 stitches left, and I do. So we're just going to do that again one more time around till I have 5 stitches left, and then we'll just sew together those 5 stitches. We'll just sew it closed. So make sure you're satisfied with the amount of stuffing you have, which I'm still not satisfied with mine. That's not horrible. It'll be different once it's closed. Right now it's not horrible. So we don't need to put our stitch marker back in. We can just start doing 2 together. And I'm just going to squeeze the head and pull. Now it's not going to be the prettiest up here, like it would be if you did the head separately. It would look like that on the bottom. But it is so difficult to sew the head on. It's just a lot easier to do it this way. One more go. I think that'll do it. So chain 1, but when you cut this, cut enough that you're going to be able to sew this head up and then hide, like weave some cord all the way through. So you can pull this through, this down. Get one of your needles. And I'm just going to go, I'm just going to do weird stuff like this. And again, weird stuff like that. So I'm just going around the stitches till I come back to where I started, which is right here, because there was only a few stitches. So now you're just going to pull and close that right up. Pull tight. So that's what the top of your head's going to look like. But keep in mind, he's also going to have ears up here, and nobody's going to notice once we get the mane on either. So I've got the hair that all comes in between. So it's not so nice as it looks right there. It's going to be fine. So I just want to come in as close as I can to this cord here, but into a stitch right next to it. I just want to make the tiniest little of knots, because I really don't want that to come undone, especially if I'm going to be putting hair all over the place. So then you can just weave your needle in, even though we just did a knot. You can just weave your needle in and down and through and over and whatever you want, different directions, pop out in funny places. And then cut as close as you can. So there's the beginning of our unicorn. So his horn's probably going to sit right about there, and his ears. And then all this is going to be hair. And it's going to run down here. And then we're going to put the tail down in this section. The snout's going to go here. So I think the eyes are in an okay spot. We'll see once it starts all coming together. So, let's do the snout. So we'll do the snout. Sorry, my camera shut off. So let's get the snout done. So you can do another slip knot or a magic circle or magic ring. And get it through that hole. There we go. And you're going to put 10 single crochets inside. And you can pull your circle closed. So you're going to do the same thing as last time. Where's my needle? I just want to kind of open this up a little bit. This one always just such a pain in my butt. So in each stitch around, you're going to put 2 single crochets. So we're going to put our stitch marker in the first stitch that we make, and then you can put your second stitch into that spot. So you should have 20 around. Kind of squishy right off the back, doing 10. So the next round is just going to be 1 single crochet, 2 single crochet, 1 single crochet. So stuff we've already done. So we're going to put our stitch marker on number 1. The next stitch is going to be 2 single crochets. The next stitch is going to be 1 single crochet. The next stitch is going to be 2. So you're going to do that all the way around till you stitch marker for a total of 30 stitches. Alrighty. So rows 5, 6, and 7 are all going to be single crochets all the way around for a total of 30. And then you can fasten off with a long tail for sewing. And we can sew that on. Alrighty, so that's it. That's the end of our snout. We are going to be stuffing this, by the way. So you can just go into your next stitch and fasten off. Leave some yarn for sewing. I know I already said that, but this guy, you can just weave this guy in somewhere, or tie a knot, cut it off. All kinds of different things that you can do. So we are gonna sew this bad boy on. We'll start sewing and then we'll stuff it after we get a few stitches in. So get whatever needle you're comfortable using. You can use a needle like I have, if you have one. But most people use a needle like this, with a crooked tip, because you're going to want to get down and up underneath. So, figure where you want it. I'm going to put my sewing thing down at the bottom because it's going to be less noticeable. And you want to bring that up as close to the eyes as possible. So, I am going to put a couple of pins in just to hold it steady. So I would say that's probably about where I want mine. It's going to look different after we put the stuffing in it, but until we get some of this sewn on. So all you're going to do is, and I will try to do this on camera as much as possible, but it's not easy to do this on camera. So I'm going to get in as close as I can to his snout, and I'm going to come up through his body and roll up, preferably into the stitch area. But you got to get as close as you can to the snout and kind of up underneath it, so that when you pull, your stitches are going to go right underneath that and they're not going to be visible. And then you just do it again. Come in as close as you can. And you kind of roll up. So when you do your stitches, they're not visible. They're just coming up right underneath. So right along there, they're kind of visible if you really, really look. But if you don't, they're going to be somewhat invisible. So as close as you can. And you can do small little stitches. So just watch where my stitch goes. And then you can't really reckon. Oh, I hope I got that on camera. I just happened to look up the camera and I'm not sure. Here, I'll do it again, see if I can show you again. I know it's so hard when you're trying to do this stuff on camera. So you can see where I went in, which is fairly close to the snout. Did you see my stitch? I don't know, I couldn't seem to hold it properly. So I'm just trying to come up into the stitches here. See if I can show you again. So unless you turn it upside down, you're not really seeing those stitches. You're just seeing the stitches that you crocheted with. So you take that out. I'm going to stick some stuffing in there. It doesn't take much, but it also can be awkward to try to sew. And then I'm going to try to put it down. Back down. Where I want it, kinda, sort of. I kinda want that needle's not doing it. I'm just gonna have to kind of try to hold it there now that I've got the stuffing in it. It can be really awkward, but it doesn't take long to get your stitches up in there. You don't want to pull too tight. You don't want to really distort what's going on here. I don't feel like I have enough stuffing in there, but it's all up to you. If I put more in here, it's just going to be even more difficult to get it to stay in place. However, I want it to be decent. Try not to do too big of stitches. I'm actually trying to hit every one, but it's not really working out for me. So after this is sewn on, you can move the stuffing around, obviously, inside the snout. I just want to keep checking it to make sure I'm not distorting it by pulling too tight. Good thing about these bent needles is you can use them for leverage. So that's the top of his nose. You can just see the crochet stitches. You can't see where I'm sewing. So that's how you do invisible stitches. More time consuming, but way more practical. I go back around. I just got this one last piece. That's the little hole there. So I'm back around and kind of smush the stuffing around in there. So I know it's hard to see because my camera is really close. But that's the snout. And for the most part, all you can see is the crochet stitches around with the invisible sewing. So normally you weave in, right? So you're going to do the same thing here. I'm going to go right down into the snout, just right on the edge, right where my line is, right on the edge of the snout, and I'm going to pop out wherever I pop out. So then again, that just looks like a stitch. Give it a little snug pull. And then I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to go in really close to where that guy is. Really close, but not in the same hole. And I'm just going to pop out wherever I pop out. just like a stitch. So you can keep doing that and weave this guy all over the place. And that way, if he's trying to unravel, he's got a long way to go. You can go in different directions. You can backtrack. You just got to remember to come down as close as you can to this. Not in the same hole, but as close as you can. So you do it a couple times, 3 times, whatever. I just did that like 4 times. But that's good because I know that it's not going to come off. So we have our snout. I think that's looking pretty good. It looks weird now, but once it's all together, well, I mean, you've seen the finished product. So when I first was doing this, I thought, oh, maybe I should make this smaller, but then, you know, I didn't. I made it, kept it that size, and then it ended up working out well. So I was going to put a little embroidery here of, you know, the whole nose, and then, but you know what, I didn't. I left it just like that. So so I think for this video is about all the time we have. I'm gonna have to split this video up because it is gonna be quite long, and we still have to learn how to do hair. So I'm gonna leave the arms and the legs and the ears for the next video, and we'll see how long that is. I might have to do a 3-part video for the hair, but we'll have to play it by ear. But for this video, I think that's about it. It's about all we can fit in. So I will see you in the next one.